The sun had barely risen over the hills of Olympia when Heliodorus of Achaea stepped into the training grounds, the bronze weight dangling from its leather thong at his side. Though the hammer throw, as the later ages would know, it had not yet fully taken shape, the Greeks practiced a similar contest, hurling a heavy forged weight as far as strength, balance, and the favor of the gods would allow. And on this morning, Heliodorus intended to earn his place among the legends. The games drew men from every corner of the Greek world. Some came with reputations sharp as spear points, wrestlers sculpted like living statues, sprinters who moved like sudden wind, and throwers from Sparta whose shoulders seemed carved from quarried marble. Heliodorus, in contrast, arrived carrying little more than determination and a story he seldom shared, the story of his father, a blacksmith who died forging the very hammer Heliodorus held now. His father had been a modest man, known for his quiet laugh and powerful arms. When Heliodorus was a boy, he had watched him shape glowing metal with a rhythm like a heartbeat. Strength, his father had said once, is not in the arms, but in the purpose that guides them. A week later, an accident in the forge claimed the blacksmith's life. The half-finished hammer had been the last thing he touched. Over the years, Heliodorus had polished it, wrapped the leather grip anew, and made it his companion in training. He believed that winning with it would honor the man who had taught him how to stand firm. At midday, the throwing contest began. The judges, draped in white, marked the throwing path in the packed earth. The spectators crowded in, murmuring in excitement. The sun gleamed on bronze weights of varying shapes, some round, some angular, depending on the traditions of each city-state. The first competitor, a Spartan named Tichon, stepped forward. He spun with vicious power and sent his weight hurtling through the air like a stone cast by a god. The crowd roared as it landed far down the field. Another competitor from Thessaly tried to match it, but his footing slipped, and the weight skidded off course. Heliodorus waited in silence, his heart beating steadily, the hammer warm against his palm. When his turn came, he stepped into the marked circle. He bowed his head briefly, not to the crowd nor to the judges, but to the memory of his father. He gripped the leather strap and began to turn. The world narrowed into a blur. Heat, earth, and sky twined together. Each rotation gathered strength, not from rage or desperation, but from the deep-rooted conviction that he carried more than himself in that throw. On the final turn, he let the hammer fly. Silence fell, the kind that stretches wide enough to fit hope inside it. The bronze weight soared farther than any before it, glinting like a falling star before striking the ground well beyond Tichon's mark. For a moment, even the officials seemed stunned. Then the field erupted with shouts, applause, and disbelief. When the victory wreath was placed upon his head, Heliodorus did not think of triumph or glory. He thought of a forge's glow, the ring of metal on metal, and a father's steady voice teaching him where true strength dwells. As the sun dipped low, casting long shadows over Olympia, Heliodorus held the hammer close. The games would remember him as a champion, but he knew the truth. He had simply finished the story his father began.